Thanks for tuning in. I'm Shani Curry, and you're watching Money Monday. And all month long, we're going to be talking about how to build your business credit. Today is actually my camera just lost it. Shucks. There we go. So we'll wait a few minutes while the audience come in. We're building and we're building. My camera just flashed right off, but we're good to go. All right, guys, so I see a few of you hanging out there. Today, we're going to be talking more about building your business credit. If you have some questions, you can start to drop them in the comment section so that you can get some questions answered about building your business credit. If you were here last week, that means that you heard us talking about some of the foundational ways to build your credit, things like making sure you had an EIN number, making sure that you had a proper address, making sure that you weren't using a PO box, making sure that you got a DUNS number. So we did some very foundational things to begin building your credit. So this week, it is the hopes that we talk with one of our financial friends, Tanya Clark. She is an attorney and she has been helping businesses build their credit for over the last 10, 15 years. So we're going to bring her on now so that we can get into that conversation. For those of you that have questions, be sure to hang out. I do want to share with you that we're having an event so that your business credit can be lit. I like to talk about it verbally because when it's in a text, it does feel a little weirded. So what we're going to do on the last Wednesday in this month, which is the 28th of January, what we're going to do is we're going to actually make some candles. We have like a really dope entrepreneur that's going to come in and walk us through that process. And the reason why I thought that was super, super cool to do with your business credit is because you get it lit, credit, no, yes? Drop it in the comment section. Throw me a money bag if you get it. If you get it, if you get it. Okay, so we're gonna make sure that we drop that. If you haven't gotten registered, it is a free event. You just need to make sure that you're getting the email so that you know when to log in and join the conversation. All right, so let's go ahead and bring Tanya on so that we can begin talking about building your business credit. Alrighty, guys, thank you. Glad to have you, Tanya. All right, so this week, what we're going to be talking about is just moving the conversation on a little bit further than what we did last week. We got some simple questions. I think one of the questions that I sent over to you was asking you about how do you dispute things that's on your credit? If your credit goes bad, is it kind of like the same process for when you're disputing your personal credit, or it's a little different?
Before I go there, we need to talk about the actual credit bureaus for business credit. The credit bureaus for business credit are Dun & Bradstreet, which is, remember from last week, we talked about the fact that you have to get a DNB number. So you need to actually have a DNB number, and the vendors and suppliers and the banks that you start to contract with will actually start to report to Dun & Bradstreet. They'll also report to Experian, which is, if you remember, that's a credit bureau for your personal credit, as well as Equifax. So Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian are the three credit bureaus for business credit. And I'm actually going to give everybody the links for that. Dun & Bradstreet is www.dnb.com. For Experian, it's www.experian.com. But you can also look to when you click on that, go to the business link under Experian.com. Okay. And then for Equifax is www.equifax.com. So each one of those will also be the links for you to actually check your business credit, look to make sure that all of the credit vendors are reporting correctly, because you can do disputes as you will for your personal credit. So that's the first step. I just wanted everybody to know that those are the three credit bureaus for business credit. And there are different scoring mechanisms for business credit. You know, when you think about personal credit, it's between 200 to up to 850 is the credit score. When you think about business credit, each one of the credit bureaus has a different scoring range. For DNB, the PAYDEX score is between 0 and 100, which is the same for Experian. But when you think about Equifax, the scoring is between 101 to 992. Okay, so these are different from personal credit reporting, and you don't have the same protections for business credit that you do for business credit. Business credit is not protected under the Fair Credit Reporting Act like personal credit is. I mean, as a consumer, we want to make sure that the government protects us, and that's why that act and that law is there. But if you're a business person, there's a thought that you are more savvy and you understand business better and actual contracts and agreements. So you don't have the same protection under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So we got the three business credit reporting bureaus. Two of them you should recognize because they're same for personal. DMB is different, and there are different credit ranges than you would have as a personal credit scoring. So that's the three reporting apps, and you can dispute just like you would for personal credit.
Got it. Okay, so one of the questions that that came in my inbox a few times over, and I wanted to address it, is I know that you mentioned last week the opportunity to, once you start building your business credit, you can start getting gas cards and things like that. So I got more questions about more vendors that is good to apply for when you're just starting to build your business credit. That's like a lot of the questions that I received.
Okay. A lot of times we think about, we see in various posts and articles, the basics. There are basic vendors that you can apply for as first tier business credit. And that's quill.com, uline.com, granger.com. Those are the three basic ones. And then when you start to look at fleet cards, there are what are some good fleet cards? Amico is a basic one. You can also do Walmart, but I mentioned to Shani when we started this, she and I both have products, business. I have a business credit book that you can order, and it will have vendors for each tier, as well as for personal credit, what you need to look for. But the basic vendors that you start off with are easy to get, which they report to all three credit bureaus, are Quill, Granger, and Uline, as well as Amico. You can get an Amico card, you can get a quick trip card, and these are the basic ones to start with. Also like 7-Eleven, and I mean, but those are the basic ones.
Would you even advise like more smaller businesses to get that? Like, because I'm even thinking of myself, like, even if I applied for some of those parts, that they weren't necessarily address my segmentation. So is it the same despite what type of professional business that you have? It's just the list?
Well, you think about Quill, Uline. I ordered from Uline toilet paper. I ordered a case of 60 of toilet paper. Quill, I ordered printer, a paper, and ink, and pens. And I mean, if you have a business, they're regular business cards, so you can buy business supplies. Granger, they have different types of supplies, but the first two, Quill and Uline, everybody should be able to use those. And I mean, I had to actually go out and try to find a printer, but I was trying to initially order my printer from Uline before I went out and purchased one, because printers have been on back order everywhere because of the pandemic and everybody working from home. But Best Buy is also another creditor, a vendor that you can use. Office Depot is a vendor that you can use. The thing about it is, when you check with these vendors, you have to make sure that they report to the credit bureaus, and you have to find out which ones they report to. So I make sure to, in my book and in my course, to list maybe 40 different vendors and who they report to, and where you need to be in the process and which tier you need to be at to be able to apply. Because if you try to apply for a Amazon card and you don't have any other business credit, you're gonna get denied. So you have to be able to go through the tiers in order to be able to know that you can actually get those creditors.
Okay, so you also mentioned that when it comes to your business credit report, like when it comes to your business credit, you're not covered under, the Fair Credit
No,
Act. You're not covered
no.
under there.
The Fair
So
Credit Act was enacted to protect consumers, not to
right.
protect businesses. Yeah.
Right. So therefore, you don't have as much covering, but there is an idea that because you are a business, that there's more leniency. Would you say that there's more leniency when it comes to your business credit? Or would you say that it is just as a difficult process, like if you have late payments, if you fall behind? Do you find that it's kind of easier to navigate those contracts where, they're not reporting negatively as quickly? What would you say in that regard?
No, I mean
No?
it depends on the vendor. Okay, so I tell people that you should always check your business credit at least twice a year, and unlike consumer credit, you don't get a free credit report. Like the Fair Credit Reporting Act states that consumers can get one free credit report a year. With business credit, you have to pay for those. You have to pay for your credit report from each one of the bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and Dun& Bradstreet. Now, there are some companies like nav.com, where you can get all three of them and you can see all three of them. There are some companies that will, give that as a product, as a service, but you have to actually pay for your business credit reports, unlike for your personal credit report. But I tell people that you need to be looking at that at least twice a year. Because once you start to build business credit, you want to see and make sure that it's being reported to the credit bureaus. Because when you start to apply for loans and when you start to apply for larger trade line types of loan business credit, like cars, Ally, and Ford, you can apply for business credit through Ally and Ford. You can, get an actual car in your name. You can get, American Express, Visa, all of these. But these are vendors that look for a history already of business credit that you've established. So you have to start small and start to build up to those other larger trade lines.
What would you
Which you need to
say
know.
what would you say the timeline is to begin building your business credit? What would you say it is?
I would say you have to have time for the trade lines to report. So at least 60 days, because you have to purchase. The trade lines and the vendors want to give you the credit based on your purchases. So if you don't purchase anything, they can't report. It's not like personal credit. So they have to look at your history as far as, over a 12-month period. Now, I'm not saying you got to wait 12 months, but they look at your history over a 12-month period. How often are you paying these bills? Do you have any liens, that'll be publicly reported? Do you have any tax liens that are from the IRS? Do you have any judgments that are coming through for lawsuits? A lot of the same things that can be reported on your personal credit can be reported on your business credit, but it's in a different kind of a process. So when you look at getting your business credit up to where it needs to be, it's going to be a process of 3 to 12 months. Just like you don't walk into a situation when you're building your personal credit. The vendors have to start to report. That means you have to purchase items and pay them off within that 30 to 60 day, 30, 45, 60 day period to show that you're loyal customer, that you're making your payments on time, that there are no issues. And, you can also, and on Dun & Bradstreet, you can also report some financial information. If you want to, put in there how many employees you have, what your profit and loss statements look like. I mean, all of these things you can, start to put into the process through Dun & Bradstreet and report on yourself. You can self-report, and they'll be considered for building your business credit. But the main thing you have to look at is, what are these vendors reporting? What are they stating about you? Are you worthy of extending credit? I mean, it's no different than, you know, if you want to go borrow some money from somebody and they're looking at, you know, do you pay your bills on time?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's do you pay your bills
Simple
on
as
time?
that. Yeah.
Are you, I mean, it's simple. Are you credit worthy? Are you
Mhm.
credit worthy, or do you pay your bills on time? You know, do
Mhm.
you have judgments against you? Have other
Mhm.
people tried to sue you because you haven't paid them?
Mhm.
You know, I mean, all of these things are kind of common sense, but people don't think, they think it's some kind of
Yeah.
magic, you know,
Yeah.
a magic shot or something.
Yeah.
It's really, really basic. Do you pay
Mhm.
your bills on time? Have other people tried to come after you because you haven't paid them?
Mhm.
What is your financial standing with the bank that you work with? You know, and I mean, it's really kind of basic, but I think a lot of people think there's some like magic shot or something, or
Yeah.
some magic, magic. That's my boo. Some kind of magic, some kind of magic like information or something. But you
Uh-huh.
just have to like pay your bills on time, and then
Right.
that's
That's
when
simple.
you. That's it.
That's simple. I know, right? They think that, yeah, sometimes when you're talking about credit, people are kind of looking for a lot of tips, but that's the simplest way to just think
Yep.
about it. It is just a reflection of how you borrow money and how you pay it back.
Yep.
This is it. How much does utilization play in the role of business credit?
Nothing. Nothing. That's a personal credit thing. The
Okay.
utilization is really personal credit, because you can have 50 or 60 credit lines reporting for business credit, and it doesn't change your credit worthiness. Whereas if you have personal credit and you have all of those lines that are on your personal credit report, and you have all these different balances, and it's over 10% for utilization, then your credit report your score is going to come down. That doesn't happen for business credit.
Okay.
The more
Got
you
it.
have, the more the difference. Another good difference is the more reporting accounts and vendors that you have is actually a better option for you, especially when you're paying all of them on time, because that shows your credit worthiness is like really, really high. So if you're looking at a Paydex score, which is the score for DNB, or you're looking at the Telescore, which is the score for Equifax, or for Experian, I'm sorry. If you're paying everything on time, and your numbers are really high, because that's the 0 to 100, and you're like 85, they're looking at all these different vendors and your credit worthiness with banks, and you don't have any judgments or any liens, then that's a great credit score. That's like an 800, and in your personal credit. And a lot of
Got
people
it.
think that, you know, you don't have to worry about, if I can get business credit, I don't have to worry about personal credit. No, you need to have your personal credit right as well. You know, I mean, I think Shani, you and I talked about that last week, you know,
Yes.
as well,
Mhm.
because you need to make sure that, you know, when you look at business funding, there are some options for business funding that don't report to your personal credit report, but they look at your personal credit score to determine how much money they're going to give to you for business funding, especially if you're a newer business, and what the interest rate might be. So you need to make sure that you have all of these things in order. And I made a post like earlier this week about CPNs, and we're not going to go farther into that, but a lot of people try to bypass having good personal credit by having, I call it a fake social security number, and it's
Yeah.
illegal. And
Mhm.
that, you know, just get
Yeah.
your,
Yeah,
just
it
get
would be
your stuff
easier
right.
to get, yeah, because the trouble that you can get in from you getting a CPN, you can use that same amount of focus and energy and just clean up your personal
Exactly.
credit. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
I don't
You
like
know,
CPNs, but I have seen people get them for the purposes of serving that. Okay,
yeah.
so we have given people a little bit of information as it relates to if you're trying to think of where to go to start applying for business credit. Again, we're going to drop in the comment section where you can register for the event. Once you register for the event, how to make sure that your business is lit. You do have access to Tanya in terms of her book. So if you want a printout of what vendors list, what first people to apply to, you can get that there. She also assists you with building your credit. So once you register for the event, then we'll start sending you tons of emails. If you want to book a individual consultation, we'll be able to assist that with you as well. If you're enjoying the content and it's starting to really get you going and you have some more questions, then be sure to drop those comments there and register for the event. We're going to drop that link there where your business credit is linked. So Tanya, you've been very helpful in helping us moving from the conversation that we had last week into the one that we're having today, just to be a little bit more progressive. But what happens if we use all of the foundational information that you use? We get our vendors list, we start building, we clean up our personal credit, and we start building that business and getting funding. But something happens in our business. Now, this business credit report is jacked. What do we have to do to begin to improve this relationship once we've kind of abused it?
There are ways to dispute. If you feel that the information that's reported to your credit bureau, just like with your personal credit, if you feel like the information that's been reported is incorrect, you can dispute it. You can dispute business credit just like you can dispute personal credit. Each one of the credit bureaus, DNB, Experian, Equifax, they have an option to do a dispute. Okay. Also, you can either go through a credit repair company to do this, or you can do it on your own, or you can actually call the vendor themselves and try to work out some kind of a negotiation for if it's a late payment or if it's something like that. I personally think you should always go to the vendor first and try to work it out, because you want to have a good business relationship when you're talking, and when you're talking about building business credit, and you're talking about long-term building good business foundation. So I would try to work with my business vendor and see if I can work through having a late payment that was reported first and foremost, and try to have it removed, and then try to go to the disputing process through each one of the credit bureaus, and they can get it wiped off. You can get it wiped off your credit report, just like you can go through the personal credit dispute process.
Okay. All right, guys. So I hope that we have for sure begun to get you to think about building your business credit. We did drop that link over there so that you can register for the event. The actual event is a free event, but it will be more of a circular conversation where you'll be in Zoom. So if you have direct questions for me or Tanya specifically about building your business credit, you want to join the free event. We are going to have a little bit of money therapy, so you'll be able to move some of that creative energy into a candle and keep it with you as a way to stay focused on building your business and gaining access to more resources so that you can grow and expand. We're going to head over to IG. I'm going to drop my IG in the comment section, and I'm also going to drop Tanya's Instagram in the conversation. So if you do have some more questions, or you're just enjoying this conversation because it's thought-provoking, then join us on Instagram. Again, Tanya does have a book. To gain access to the book, just use the link to register. I always send out a link that has the books included in it, so you can always grab it, get the vendors list. And if you're one of those kind of people that just kind of need stuff in front of you on a check by check, kind of like myself, the book is going to be really great for that. So, all right, we're going to drop that, and I hope that you guys were able to gain some information that helps you put some wealth in your purse or wallet. We'll see you on IG. Holla!